Hello, streaming to you live on Rumble. I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is June 6th, 2026, and it's sunny Saturday. I hope you're ready for a 10-minute hit along with some fitness stress testing. And then after that, I will talk about DNA sequence, gene expression, and hormones. And I'm going to kind of wrap this up with some other things that I observe around the world, and I'm going to share my 2 cents as far as what I think about it after debriefing what I've been observing the last little while in my mind, and how I think it can benefit you and in your journey and with unlocking your bioenergy. Because health and longevity is a passion of mine, and it's something that I will never stop talking about, and nor should you. You should explore it and make the most out of it. So with that, the 10-minute hit and the fitness stress testing. So change the camera here. I'm going to set up the heart rate monitor, which I always like to use, and this is the first kind of line of defense that I use to make sure that I'm doing what I should be doing. And if I'm noticing something that's out of the norm, then it's a flag for me to say, maybe you should be careful, or maybe not, or maybe you're doing something right. So I like to think I'm doing something right, and I'm not afraid to show that right here live, and to help motivate you and keep you focused in your health journey. So, as they say, health is wealth, and so is exercise. It's good for you. And let's reset and regenerate those 78 known genes. But if you want more, then stick around. You might learn something. So, heart rate is here. You can see. So, it's being streamed to you live. I'm not afraid to share this, and I only record this to demonstrate that I am as real as a heart attack. So with that, I'm going to use the rope here. I'm going to set the metronome at 165. So as you see on the screen here, that's the same pace that I did yesterday for the Feel It Friday session. That's the conditioning workout. And it felt good yesterday. I found that I was a little slower, my overall time yesterday, and which I recorded in the log that I have. So if you were to look at yesterday's episode, you'll notice that I include it at the bottom. So I like to measure my progress from a week-to-week basis, and compare how things going, or how they are going. Yesterday there was a lot more queens that were flipped, especially with the number of reps. So when I'm talking about more queens, I'm talking about the actual number of reps, and and it reflected. I was feeling it yesterday. So it's something that reminds me that I need to focus on, which is a weakness of mine, which is the push. It's kind of always been that way, and it's just a testament to show how your body adapts to the week after week training that you put yourself through, and would you see changes in that? And part of me does that. I recognize that, but I also think about what I eat too, in addition to the training that I do, because that's going to have an influence on how your body responds, which is why I will talk about it later. So let's get on with it. I'm going to turn the metronome on, and of course the app reset itself, which happens on occasion. Okay, that's good. So it reconnects now. I restart the app and I start playing it. There we go. So 10 minutes, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So follow along, and you'll see. So right now it's yellow numbers, so red means just whatever pace is comfortable for you. And then when the number turns green, that means go and match the metronome pace that you see or that you hear. It's a brisk pace. All right, first round done, 9 more to go. So you can do whatever step you wish. Straddles, running step, jumping jack style, side to side lateral, whichever. Just getting warmed up. Really? And with the rope, you can turn on the intensity instantly, which is nice. So really making these interval sessions very effective. So we're getting close to halfway through. climb a little bit. I can up the intensity. Ready? Really? All right. So, feels good to get a nice high intensity interval training session in 10 minutes, and it's pretty evident that my cardiovascular strength is quite strong. Trying to push my heart rate up, and the only way I can really do that is by holding my breath, or if I'm talking lots, then it's going to increase my heart rate. So essentially exercise it. But it just goes to show how good my VO2 actually is. And in the coming weeks, I'll be looking at doing some third-party testing, and hopefully I'll be able to record it. And if I can do it live, that'll be the real benefit if I can do that. So, 40 seconds left in the recovery. I'm going to drink a little bit more deuterium depleted water, which, if you tuned in yesterday, you'll know that I did a little, not a telegram, but a video message for the owner of the patents that designed this invention. And my recovery is very good actually today. So I attribute that to some of the foods that I chose to eat yesterday. And so it's very important to make sure that you're getting, the nutrition to complement your activities. So, just gonna finish this cup of water. And I'm gonna switch to using the other rope. This rope here is heavier, so also I just remembered that I'm going to increase the metronome speed from 165 to 228, and this is the tempo that I'm currently attempting to break. So you see here on the screen that's scrolling on your bottom left. So I previously set my own personal record where I completed 250 skips with this particular rope. So you see that here. So this one here has a lot of miles on it. So what I'm going to do is just place it on the ground behind me, on the concrete. And that rope is what I'm using as a measuring stick to compare against what I first did back in 2018. So this is 8 years ago. And if you look at the log that I included the link to in yesterday's episode, I'll do the same for today as well, where you can see all the attempts that I have made with pertaining to the this fitness stress test. And so 2 weeks ago I reached the goal that I set for myself, which was to skip 250 times with this particular rope that's on the concrete floor behind me. And it took me 8 weeks of trying essentially to get it. And it was kind of a tough go, largely because of the very first time I did it or attempted to reach the or to test myself essentially. I was really close to doing it the first time, and I thought, okay, this is going to be it's enough of a challenge for me, but also I was curious to see how long it would actually take, and it took longer than I thought it would. 8 weeks worth of training myself at this pace of 224. And 2 weeks ago I got it. I finally did it. So with that, my goal is to increase the intensity, meaning the tempo, and to try to do the same, but this time in 66 seconds as opposed to 67. And that pace in itself is hard. Last week's attempt, It was the second attempt, I think, at 228. So I fared quite well, and so this past week I've been trying to focus on just changing my warm-up habits to see how it's going to affect me today, and largely because I was skipping this past week at a pace of 185, which is faster than 165, and just to see how it felt over the course of that period of time, especially doing the 9-minute hits. That's what I was attempting. So I've got two variations of a 9-minute where I'll do 6.5 minutes worth of just regular skip at a certain pace. So basically, if you're jogging, for example, and then I would do 2.5 minutes of higher intensity, which typically included double unders and just a running step, and you alternate back and forth for a duration of 2 minutes. So when I do that, that's when I really hit the high echelon numbers for the heart rate, and that's where on May 28th, if you were to watch back, you'll see that I in fact reached 221 on screen right here. It was streamed live. So the outcome of that has triggered me to to really explore VO2, and I had the opportunity to visit with some people, and that's kind of what's in the works now. So my heart rate is nice and recovered there. It's been a few minutes that I've allowed myself just to absorb this water that I just drank a few minutes ago, and see how it goes today. So 228. Let's have a listen. So that's at 3.7878 revolutions per second. So spinning that rope almost 4 times per second. So gives you an idea of how fast this is, and it does put a lot of stress on your upper body. So how you hold the rope is going to drastically influence this. Yeah, okay, I'll do that way. And you see I'm quite relaxed. 64. It's good, it feels good. After 10 minutes of pretty high pace. Well, 165 is for me it's a moderate pace now, because I have the endurance to sustain that. So my heart rate just climbed right back up. Stop breathing. Okay. No more rest. I'm just gonna give it a shot. I'm just gonna test this rope here. Yeah, okay, it seems about right. Here we go. So how you can count this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need to get to 62.5. So I need 62 plus 2 skips to get 250. So I'm not going to count. I just focus on the tempo. That's it. So however many I get is what I get. All right. Of course. Trippity trip, trip, trip. It's feeling really good, actually. Really good. Oh, I want to do another one. I'm going to just drink a little bit more water, actually. And I have some fresh water that I'm making right as we speak. So I'm going to pour some fresh in with the cold. And so if you listen closely, you can hear the machine running. So since I poured half and half of a batch that is made from a previous day, and with the fresh, the water is quite hot, so it's nice and not too hot. It's nice and warm, actually. And when the water is warm, you can tell the difference, because it's a slightly smoother, and I think that has to do with just the temperature of the water affects its vibration, and when the water cools down and it settles down, the hydrogen bond settles at 114. And drinking this water is just so refreshing. All right, so heart rate is kind of dropped back down. This stress testing is something I don't mess around with too much. Keep it there. Last time I was counting numbers, I started counting after, I don't know, about 10 or so. I'm going to see if I'm going to try to do that again. And hopefully I don't get too distracted. one thing I need to remember is try to keep my hands lower, instead of bringing them up like this, because then it shortens the rope under my feet. So I just have to find the distance kind of thing to see. So you can kind of tell here. So the bottom of the rope here, say, is at my chest height. So it kind of gives you an idea of the length. All right, there we go. Meddling with my thumbs. That's what I was doing. I was distracted by it. I was thinking about how to change this instead of just building the comfort. I'm gonna try a third time. What's going on here? I'm going to switch handles. And the reason why I'm going to switch sides is that this, oh, maybe that's what it is that there's this kink here in the rope affects things a little bit, believe it or not, because it's not connected, so it naturally has a little bend in it, and that's because of the rope itself, which is okay. But I remember now the first time it was more to my right from the center of my body, so, and I know that my left hand tends to hold the handle lower than my right for whatever reason. It's kind of like it's an imbalance of sorts, so, which is something I will talk about as well after I'm done here. Okay. So, after 2 attempts with that rope, I'm going to try it with this one here. This is the other rope that I've introduced the past few weeks. And is heavier than the purple and white rope, beaded rope that I use. So the idea is to strengthen my forearm strength, so that way I can have greater tolerance for the feel, especially at that intensity level. So the choice of the different ropes helps to strengthen that feeling. So, and you'll hear the difference in the ropes itself. So when I'm swinging this, it makes a different sound. It sounds like it's heavier, and I should probably weigh it to kind of get an approximation of the overall rope to actually check that, and perhaps that might be something I'll do in the coming weeks here. The handles itself on this rope are lighter than the black one that's kinked, but the rope is I think heavier, so which provides a different feel, a tactile feel, and we'll see how it goes. So my heart rate is more or less kind of recovered here, so I'm going to give it a shot. This rope here is a different length, so the bottom of the here is beneath, so it's shorter, so meaning that I have to hold it differently. So, and with that, my hands are in a different position, so it requires supination to execute this one, and probably a little bit more bicep activation as well. So that's what a shorter rope does. Kind of changes that feel and the way the muscle is activated. So that being said, let's give it a shot. You can probably hear the rope, how it moves through the air already. It has a different sound to it. Alright. I found myself changing the distance, kind of comfort level from my arms, and because of that I made the rope shorter underneath my feet, and that's why I tripped. See, I'm trying to skip lower here like this. Once I have the momentum going. And of course this rope is there we go. Seems to be twisted. I'm gonna give it one more shot. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to do a few regular skips, and then on 0, 1, 2. So always count 0 first when I'm against that first beat. That's how you know I start. 0, 1. No. Starting to find it pretty uncomfortable because I was changing the rotation of my wrist, whereas my palms were facing down, and then I rotated them to face in front of me. And in doing so, I could feel the muscle activate differently, especially with my palms facing down and spinning the rope this way. So a takeaway for me is to focus on building that up, that strength. That's a takeaway for me. All right. Now, last but not least, the purple and white monster. This one is the lightest of the three. And there is a bead here on the bottom that's quite worn. I'm gonna have to take this one out and move it around. There's actually two of them here that are pretty worn. So not a bad thing, it's just how these things wear out. Alright. So with this rope I kind of hold it like this so you can see the angle or hand position where I'm holding it. So the ribs, there's like little ribs in here, and I'm just basically putting my pinky on the second rib from the end of the rope. And the idea is because just to adjust the length of the rope itself. Alright. And my heart rate doesn't like to read. Come on. Oh, really? You're going to stop reading now all of a sudden? Here, let's go here. There. Okay. Let's give this a shot. So, the beaded rope. Oh, you son of a gun. Ah! I'm going to adjust it a little bit so longer. Here we go. What's going on here? I'm going to try longer. So holding it at the very butt end of the... We're just going to try it. I keep tripping. Why? I find I'm fighting against this rope. Finding it challenging to feel with a rope, so I'm fighting with it, like the weight, because my muscle connection is relying on the feel, on where it is. It's kind of bothering me. So here I'm going to try one more time, and I'm going to hold my pinky on the, not on the inside edge of the second rib, but here, just like on a, I think maybe that's where it needs to be. Yeah. So the first rib, my pinky's on the inside of it, just to kind of get the right amount of feel of the rope. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it for today. Just the discomfort I'm starting to feel now. So I'm like, it's like I'm getting to the second and third wind type of feeling, and that's when my energy levels need to recover. So I think overall a good attempt for today. I'm gonna grab the heart rate monitor here so you can see. So June 6th, 2026. Starting time is at 2:10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay. Here. So maximum heart rate I hit today. So just 156. And it's interesting to see how during the 10-minute hit, how it slowly climbs here. Of course, the Yes, okay. Here, so, oh my goodness. Not cooperating with me today. So how you can see how my heart rate is doing this, climbing up, so it's sawtoothing. It's what I call a sawtooth. And it really does it here, so you see the big peak. And then I have a good recovery and so forth. So I think that today's effort was good. And which brings me to my next topic, which was talking about my observations. And I'm going to touch base on that here. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to bring up. And it's this guy right here. He appeared just recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, or the Joe Rogan Experience. And this fellow's name is Devin Larratt, and he's somebody that I have featured on this channel, where I talked about some of the things he's been doing. And in this podcast, he expands on some things that he has shared just recently with regards to testing of DNA, chromosomes, and so forth. And where he's working with a scientist in the United States, where they're talking about sequences and looking at how the genes are different between everybody, so forth, and why certain characteristics occur in different people, such as himself compared to others in the arm wrestling world. And reason being is because Devin's goal is to be the best in the arm wrestling open, how would you say, weight class. So someone has come along that has beat him, and he is motivated to return the favor. And in previous matches, Devin had actually, he said he torn his right bicep. So he talked about having a tattoo there that's where it was torn. So this is the short head right on the inside. So, see here, when I don't flex my muscle, it looks like I don't have anything, but as soon as I flex it, then it's there, right? So you can tell that I have it. And that has everything to do with a combination of things, such as your fascia, and the actual density of the muscle itself, and how it grows and how it responds. So this is one of the things that Devin spoke about quite extensively in the podcast with Joe, and because Joe asked him a bunch of questions and how he trains and how does he get to his kind of level in the arm wrestling world. And he said, well, it has to do with just volume essentially over time. And this is because your body is going to naturally adapt to that volume. But then he talked about, well, what kind of volume are you doing? Are you doing a lot of straight heavy sets? And Devitt said, well, it's not necessarily heavy sets, because sometimes in the arm wrestling world, it's about how you find the area of weakness within your opponent. It could be in the fingers or a certain movement, like a certain range of movement that you get them and you catch them, and then you can win the match. And so Devin explained that he focuses on those small things, but most importantly, it's the movement of blood within those small movements in the arm wrestling. And that grabbed my attention because it correlates to some of the things that I am doing in terms of training. And when I say that is because if you lift heavy weights, you do explosive, you're basically squeezing all the blood out of the muscle. So when let's say you're doing a bicep curl and you pull heavy, you're creating micro tears in the fibers, but you're also squeezing the blood out of the muscle itself. And so Devin talked about not doing that, essentially. He wants the blood flow to actually flow to the muscle. And that makes a lot of sense for me, because that's the type of training that I do, is with the vibration plate training, is forcing the muscle to activate, but also have that blood flow to the muscle as well. So it's one thing to hold a muscle or hold, let's say, a weight isometrically and squeeze the blood out, but then when you release, that blood's going to flow back, right? But he's doing it while he's allowing it to happen, because when you're arm wrestling, that blood has to be circulating back and forth, because if the blood's not going, then you're holding a position isometrically for a long time. So this is why he's talking about increasing that blood flow, because of the isometrics. He wants to be above that, if you want to call it. So it's about having a higher threshold, or higher isometric threshold, essentially. That's what he's saying. And so when it comes to training with the vibration plate, it's actually mimicking that, because you can hold it isometrically, and the muscles being pulsed like a calf muscle per se, right? If you're doing skipping, you know, some people say it acts like a second heart, because to push the blood back up. So can you essentially create the same kind of condition in the bicep for arm wrestling if you're using vibration? It really triggers a thought with me. And so what also grabbed my attention is that Devin also talked, while having blood flow to the muscle, it's also flowing to the fascia and to all the cells and everything in that particular region. Now, if you have a lot of inflammation in that particular region, then that blood that's flowing won't be able to penetrate through. So Devin talked about having 2 surgeries on his elbow, on his right elbow, and has it limited him in terms of maybe inflammation if it's got into the elbow? If it's in there, then that blood flow that he's talking about won't flow into the area as well. So being aware of toxins is very important. And it's just kind of coincidental that he, after the East-West match that he did in April, he said he was doing a fast. How many days it was, you know? That's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to remove the inflammation from his arm that occurred because of, let's say, foods even that he ate over in Germany, because the toxin levels are going to be different, right? So the replenishing aspect, or to create the conditions of what was called autophagy, I think, AUTOPHY or PHOGY, something like that. So basically, it's a state in the body where it's going to trigger the process of cellular activation and regeneration. Now, that's just one piece. Is it the same as photobiomodulation that occurs with the use of the X39? It's not, because this is the signal that goes like this, taps your body and triggers it to do that, activate that process of photobiomodulation. But so with Devin talking about doing the fast, kind of follow suit with, you know, that blood flow. But if he really wants to get his blood flow like the best, in the best state, well, there's no denying that deuterium depleted water is the key to that, and it has everything to do with the isotopes, because it's changed. It's in the purest form. So Devin, if you're listening, listen closely. Your blood is 94% water. You want the cleanest and most absorbable version of it. And when you have those 2 components, then that blood flow becomes stronger. So here, you know, like when I don't flex my muscle, it looks like I don't have anything, right? I look like nobody, right? Now, and this has lots to do with the fascia as well and the cells, because the muscle is, technically it should be elastic. The more elastic it is, the healthier it is, in my opinion, right? So here, I'm not flexing it, it looks stretched, right? And you can see that elasticity when I'm on the vibration plate, and you see my muscle going, blah, 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 it's moving around, right? Yeah, and that's because it's elastic. It's healthy. How many kids do you see have little kids, 5 years old? You put them on a vibration plate, and you're going to see their muscle is going to be all elastic, right? And that's because they don't have years worth of accumulation of any toxins, right? Not like Devin just turned 51 in April, so he's going to have a lot of accumulation if like deep into the cells. And if he didn't do fasting when he was younger, well, then he's going to have he's going to be in a position where he's got to think about this. So he wants to maximize his longevity, as do I. So when I think back to my teenage years, my 20s, did I drink a lot of carbonated drinks, pop and this? I didn't. I didn't drink much alcohol, let alone. So am I at a how would you say, a healthier state at my current age? It's quite likely, just because of my choices when I was younger. And does it reflect in my appearance because I look quite young? I don't look like I'm 50. I met some people for the first time last week, and they said, I would not have given you 50. It's 3 months away. How many days? I said 105 days till I turn 50. All right, and now I'm not saying that I'm anything special, but I think I'm just making the right choices for me. Can those choices apply to you? Well, I'm using common sense, right? So when I talk about deuterium depleted water being the cleanest and most absorbable, that also means that the isotopes are not radioactive. If there's any radioactivity in the water, you want that out. So am I reaping the benefits when I can do what I can do? My heart races. My heart can run like a Ferrari, like 221 beats per minute at 49 years old. Some people say, "Oh, you got to be careful." Like, I feel okay. I'm still here. So, which brings me to another subject that from that podcast now. Joe Rogan and Devin. They talked about Devin talked about swabbing people, essentially swabbing them to get their DNA signature, right? And to find out why they are the way they are. And one of those people that he had swabbed was Brian Shaw, the world's strongest man, big guy, okay? Brian right now is appears to be on a mission to reduce his body fat levels to become more athletic. And that is, in my mind, is the right choice, because you can have all the muscle in the world, but if you can't do anything with it, outside of lifting heavy things, there comes a point where you want to maximize your longevity, and this is what I think he's thinking about now. And so one of the things that Devin mentioned about Brian is that his growth hormone is specific to him. So essentially, they probably did a urine test and to see what it was. What did his growth hormone look like? And that raised a few how would you say alarm bells with me. Not necessarily alarm bells, but it rang a few bells with me, because it's something that I have talked about in the past on this channel, where I spoke about this here. So how does this play a role in what Devin said about Brian? Well, growth hormone. So if any of you have followed what Dr. Edward Group has talked about with regards to stem cells and growth hormone specifically, and how your body is going to create that for you, and that comes by way of your own perfect medicine. So is there coincidence that my body is maintaining, like I'm still putting on or keeping my muscle? like there's no secret that muscle can be used as energy. So your muscle levels can go up and down like a roller coaster, right? So, that's why bulking and cutting has become a thing, because in order to keep putting on muscle, you got to have an excess amount of caloric intake in order for your body to actually take those Lego pieces, aka the amino acids, and put them all together and build the muscle to make them look bigger. So that's the premise of what bodybuilding is. And then when they do the cut stage, that's when they're reducing the body fat, right? So you're reducing your carb intake to reduce the body fat. Now, is that healthy long term? Well, not really, because the body is smarter than you, and in order for it to maintain low body fat levels for a long time, you have to kind of like condition it to really adapt to that. But depending on the type of body you have, whether you're a mesomorph, ectomorph, or there's three: ectomorph, mesomorph, and it's evaded my mind now. But you get what I'm saying, is that because when your body recognizes if you're in a feast or famine state, it's going to adjust how it holds on to nutrients and so forth. So if it recognizes that your activity over a period of time is higher than what your intake is, well then when your activity drops, it's going to remember that and say, oh, okay, I'm going to hold on to a little bit more so that way I can protect myself. And by doing that, basically you're going to hold on to more calories. And so the idea behind that is, if you want to maintain a lower body fat level, you have to kind of figure out what activity level works for you, and then you manage your intake in accordance with that. So can that affect your muscle mass? It can. So this is where hormones can play a role in that process, because they're also trying to regulate, or the body's going to regulate itself to adjust for that. So if you don't have enough of a particular hormone, well then your body's going to produce it by way of your own perfect medicine, and it's a perfect match for you. So versus having something from a lab, such as a peptide, for example, right, or a TRT or so, right? So is there benefits to utilizing your own perfect medicine? Yeah, there is. There is. So this is why it grabbed my attention, as far as what Devin was thinking and mentioning. So some people, they relabel this kind of stuff in different ways and so forth, but at the end of the day, it's all the same principle. So know what works for you, listen to your body, record it, look in the mirror and observe, right? That's your best, validator for that, because you know where things, even if you have to draw an outline or something like that on the mirror, like, or take pictures, like be consistent with your methods, so that way you can monitor how things are going. Like you can come up with all kinds of creative ways to do this, and some people are straight, they use film. Take a picture with film camera, right? The good old 35 millimeter, right? Then nothing in the digital world knows about what you're doing. Write down on paper, nobody knows. Like, choose which method's best for you. Stay consistent with that, and then when you become a master at listening to your body, then you become a master at managing it. And that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the HIIT and the fitness testing. And I only gauge against myself. So, if you want to gauge against me, use me as a motivator, then so be it. Do it, right? And if that helps you get to where you want to be. So remember, always think think about the three amigos for AHK, GHK, and glutathione, because glutathione is your friend when it comes to helping with detoxing the body, because it's the master antioxidant. So those 3 amino acids, right? And if you need help getting the activation, then you can use this. And I wear it when I go to sleep. And sleep is where the most healing occurs and the rebuilding. And I believe also is part of the your own perfect medicine aspect. Every morning, I'm taking a shot. And does that have growth hormone in it? I'm just saying. Right? So it pays to think about these things. And it also pays to feel the benefits, as you see on the screen. Scan the QR code. As you see there, it'll take you to unlockyourBioenergy.godaddysites.com, where you'll see the buttons and you can research more about the bioenergy products that I call. Because I am a registered brand partner with LifeWave. And I teach you how to get and make the water. And when you're ready to pull the trigger, you can either click on one of the buttons where you see order your bioenergy options, click here, or you can scan the QR code as you see on the screen, or click on the links in the description. And if you're interested in also a vibration plate, there's lots of choices for you. I particularly like a certain model. If I were to replace it with what I have, which the day will come eventually, and I will be looking at replacing it from there. So if you're curious as to which option is best for you, make a comment and I'll make a suggestion, or I'll just do that myself. I'll feature that on the channel here. So again, lastly, I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Tune in on Monday, and eat well, sleep well, and best of luck to you. Bye for now.